We got time, but no money. But there ain't nobody stopping us. We got bills, but no dollars. But now we don't really give up. No, we don't really give up. Living for that ray of light. Life can be beautiful. Life can be beautiful. Going all the way to...
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. You guys, if you've been following me for a while, you guys know we just spent a week in Wisconsin visiting family, but we also went over to Grandma's house, Bobby's grandma, to help her out in her basement. She had so much stuff down here that half of it was hers, half of it wasn't hers. Bunch of it was just trash, and she's just gotten to a point where she can't do it herself. So Bobby and I took 2 days out of our vacation to come over here and help her out. So on day one, we pretty much just went through and decluttered and organized and got rid of anything that she did not need. We called family that was storing stuff at her house and was like, hey, Grandma doesn't need this at her house anymore. Come and get it. And we just completely transformed this part of her house. We did have Grandma down there in the beginning part of this process. She was being very stubborn, though, and not sitting in the chair that we had set up for her. But we wanted to make sure that she was down here. That way she could kind of give us an idea of what everything is. I was super excited, though, because that red bin is full of Disney Village set, and you guys know I love my Village set, and I actually got it from Grandma Gloria. So to find out that she had a whole nother bin for me, I was so excited. And of course, Bobby's always showing off for the camera. So I always get questions about how to even start when it comes to stuff like this. People know that I don't love cleaning, but I love a clean space. However, I will say I do enjoy helping other people. There's just something about being able to help someone and it's not your mess that actually makes it so much easier in my mind. But when it comes to clutter and mess in your own space, I always recommend taking it section by section. Like if this was my basement, I would have gone and like split this area into fourths and done one corner at a time so that I never felt overwhelmed, but I also saw the progress. I feel like when you do one task at a time, it can get overwhelming because if I decided just to go through and do one thing all over, you don't really see the progress. But if I decide to tackle one section at a time, that's when I really see the progress, and that's what gets me motivated to just keep on going and finish the rest of the area.
I just wanna be close to your body, close to your body, close to your body. Oh, I just wanna be close to your body. Give me some sugar, honey, close to your body. Oh, I just wanna be.
These cedar chests were so beautiful. This one we're taking the stuff out of currently was Grandma Gloria's, but the smaller one was actually her mother's. And you're actually going to see that we ended up bringing that cedar chest home. I absolutely loved it. It does need a little bit of work on it, but for the most part, it was in really, really good shape. So I wanted to give it a quick cleaning before throwing it in our car. Grandma had told us about this before we even came up, and I knew there was a chance we were going to be bringing something home, so we definitely planned for the possibility of having a piece of furniture to bring home. But I absolutely love this piece. I love that it's like very clean lined, but it also just, I don't know, the history of it. I love having pieces that are beautiful and have some history behind it. So knowing that this is Bobby's great grandmother's cedar chest that we will be using in our bedroom, I absolutely love.
Oh, I just wanna be.
It was insane. We ended up having, so whenever I break down boxes and we know we have a lot, we'll save like the big box to put the smaller pieces into it and just like try to break it all down. We ended up by the end of this having 4 boxes, because what you don't see is on day 2, this is still day 1, but on day 2, when I was working on the basement and prepping it to paint it and everything, Bobby was actually upstairs with his grandma working in her spare bedroom. She has a tiny 3-bedroom house. I believe it's only about 1,000 square feet, 3-bedroom. And she has her room, and most of her house is super well maintained. It's purely this basement, and she's got 2 spare bedrooms that she has a lot of stuff in. So Bobby took the time to actually help her upstairs also. So just in cardboard, we ended up having 3 large boxes stuffed with cardboard taken out of her house. And that's not including the I think it was like 2.5 carloads of donations and trash. And then we also had about a carload of stuff to go back to Bobby's parents' house, of stuff that they'd been storing at Grandma's house, and we're like, nope, if it's not important enough to store at your own house, y'all should probably get rid of it, but you guys can decide either way. Get it out of Grandma's house. This way she has an easier time getting downstairs, because she still has to come downstairs. This is where her laundry is and everything, and we just wanted to make sure it was clean and tidy. And if she wanted to clean up down here, because she is pretty notorious of wanting to keep things clean, to the best of her abilities, obviously.
In every memory, I feel way beyond my reach, and that's still true. No matter how hard I try.
So originally my plan was to wash these curtains just to give them a freshening up. These windows really, really needed a good cleaning. You'll see that later on. However, these curtains did not end up going back up after coming out of the wash. They were so sun faded that after washing them and pulling them out of the dryer, they were shredded. Full on shredded. Luckily, Grandma had a couple curtains in her closet that she wasn't using that ended up working well. But yeah, I was not expecting to wash these and have them come out completely destroyed. But that's just what happens of time of sunlight and everything. And yeah, I tried to get them looking better. Sometimes though, you just gotta spend the money to replace. It was also nice coming over here because this was at the end of our vacation, so we had a good amount of dirty clothes. So not only did we get to clean and declutter and organize all of her stuff, but we also made it that we only went home with a little bit of dirty clothes and not a full week's worth of dirty clothes.
Slip away, and maybe I can say this out. Could I be so stupid? Yeah, I feel so useless. You deserve better than this. And I will try to fix it. Take me back into start.
So Bobby and I did vlog a lot of this vacation, just bits and pieces here and there. We really do like to try and stay like in the moment when we are doing stuff as a family, but we did vlog throughout this trip, and one of the videos coming up on our family vlog channel is going to be part of this cleaning, but it's gonna be kind of fun because it's not the whole thing like you see here sped up with fun music, like motivational, get you going, but a lot more of the behind the scenes. I will warn you though, because I do try and keep my channel a little bit more kid friendly when it comes to language and stuff. My husband swears like a sailor, or I guess any military for that. So there is some not child appropriate language. It's not horrendous, but I do like to give a heads up because I know a lot of families watch our channel, but it is really funny to kind of get to see like some of the banter behind the scenes that you just don't realize is going on, because you guys get these voiceovers and the fun music and everything's all sped up. So yeah, that's going to be on our family vlog channel, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. I laughed so much going back over that footage with Bobby and just seeing it all. But yeah, going into these window wells, like I said, these are really dirty. Cobwebs everywhere, super dusty. I am just purely using hot water and Dawn dish soap because Dawn dish soap is like the go-to if you need to get something really, really clean. So that is what I went for. But yeah, you can see it was black. It was really, really bad. Unfortunately, I couldn't get these windows that clean. It's just they're old. A lot of this dirt is from the outside, so they're clean, but they're not going to look amazing right away, that's for sure. Eventually, I think Bobby's father plans on replacing these because a couple of them are cracked out also.
Sunset slow, hey, you know you should stay for the night. What you think? One more drink while we sit by the bonfire. 'Cause this might be love.
Also, whenever I help anyone out, obviously, especially here, I didn't have any of my cleaning supplies because they're all in Florida. But I always use what someone else has. I don't like bringing like my vacuum or my, other than like cleaning rags and some cleaning, like products, I'll bring some. But when it comes to like vacuums and stuff like that, vacuums, mops, I try and use whatever the people have because I don't like bringing all that dirt and grime from one house to the next. The nice thing is about my rags is I know I can thoroughly disinfect them and they will be fine. But like here, I was sucking up spiders and spider webs and dead bugs and everything. So it would definitely be a situation where if I did have my vacuum, I wouldn't have brought it anyway because I don't want to bring that back into my house. It's also just not good with allergies. You guys know my middle son, Bjorn, has extreme allergies and asthma and eczema and all of those things. So I try to be very specific about what comes in and out of my house.
I need you, what to do, I can't help that I want you. We got the moonlight shining bright as we drive down the avenue. 'Cause this might be love, it's a feeling that I can't get rid of. So just take my hand, I wanna be with you.
So we actually tried to talk Grandma into letting us paint this paneling. We just thought it would look a lot brighter and cleaner down here, but she really loves it. So I just wanted to go in and give them a really good cleaning. Bobby's dad is actually going to be eventually coming in and putting in LPV vinyl flooring down here as well, because these tiles are super old and they might be asbestos. They're old enough. This is an old house. So going over with the LPV, just going over it will be a lot better. And in the end, I think after we cleaned it, we did end up painting the other side as well as these ceiling tiles. I do think it's going to look really, really nice once this whole basement is completed for her. But it was definitely a lot of work going through everything and then section by section. When I was doing like a lot of this cleaning, Bobby was actually making trips to and from Goodwill and Habitat for Humanity, and all those different places, just trying to figure out who will take what, because every donation places takes different things. So he was making trips throughout all those different areas.
I just can't change my emotions. There isn't anything I wouldn't do to prove that everything I say is true. And if you let me, I'll keep loving you. I just can't change my emotions. Come on, love me again. You're all I need. Can you love me again? I need. Come on, love me the way you did. I just can't change my.
So I know a lot of you have been asking, and I think I brought up a couple times, but I keep getting these questions about, what about the dogs while we've been gone? So the dogs stayed in Florida, obviously. And then my parents just came over a couple times throughout the day to let them outside and feed them and all those things. They were so much happier and like stress-free from this trip than any other trip we've ever taken. Because when we lived in Wisconsin and would go to Florida, we didn't have family nearby. Everyone was over an hour away. So when we went on vacation, the dogs had to go to someone else's house. And no one ever wanted to take both the dogs because they're big dogs. So they'd go, usually Drake would go by my sister's and then Bailey would go by Bobby's parents' house. And I feel like that really stressed them out. I definitely noticed that while we were gone this time, neither of them stopped eating, which normally they don't eat for a couple days when we first leave because they're like, what's going on? And they just seem so much more relaxed. So it was really, really nice to be able to let them stay home and then just have my mom and dad come over a couple times a day to let them out and feed them. They were so much more happy than any other time that we've gone on a trip.
Come on, love me again. You're all I need. Can you love me again? I need. Come on, love me the way you did. I just can't change my
Oh, that also reminds me, this mop. So Grandma Gloria got this on sale. I believe she said at Aldi's. 100% would not recommend going for a off-brand, cheaper version of the old cedar mop. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but like everything seemed a little off. Like the head mechanism was really tight, so it was kind of hard to use. And then the head didn't fully fit in the thing to rinse it. So I definitely noticed that if you want an O-Cedar mop, just get the O-Cedar mop because there's a pretty big difference of the quality and how they work. And I honestly was just getting frustrated. Every time I tried to dry this thing, it would like fling water and soap everywhere because the head didn't completely fit in there. So for her, it'll be fine. But yeah, I would not recommend this. I don't even know what brand it is. Like I said, she said she got it on sale at Aldi's. I'm pretty sure Aldi's, but it definitely had some pretty major flaws that I wasn't thrilled about. Maybe I'm also just a snob when it comes to cleaning products.
is to love and leave. Like when it's going good, it's not meant to be. All I seem to do is to love and leave for good. And now I'm losing my mind, about to lose it all. If I don't make it right, I'ma fall apart. I'll lose it all. I'll lose it all.
Okay, I find cleaning these windows, as gross as it was when I was doing it, Watching this footage back is so satisfying to see it become clean. Like, all the webs and nasties just going away makes me so happy. But here you can actually see where I said those windows are cracked out. Luckily, they're double paned, so this was just like the inner glass, and the exterior glass was still fine. But yeah, these are very, very, like, they've got to be original with the way they're like inset and everything. But yeah, going back and watching this footage, because I know when I was doing it, I was kind of freaking out about all the cobwebs. I don't love bugs by any means. And Bobby's dad was supposed to come to the house and bomb it before we cleaned it, just to make sure at least the bugs were all dead. And he did not have time to. So I was dealing with dead bugs, live bugs, all the things. Luckily, I feel like, especially in Wisconsin, the main spiders we deal with in basements are daddy long legs, which are completely harmless, but they're still bugs, and they still kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. I went back to the hotel after doing this and like showered for the longest time because I just felt itchy. It was, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of bugs. They're not like the worst thing in the world. They don't make it that I'm just like not going to clean something, but they do definitely just give me the creepy crawlies and make me, I don't know, feel dirty. Like I have to clean a million times because I feel like things are walking on me. Bobby wanted to try out Grandma's little chairlift. He quickly learned that it is very, very slow. Necessary for her to have. But yeah, this is him just being a goofball using the chairlift to go up the stairs.
Keep holding me, don't let me go. Everything's so magical. All I need is you tonight. If I shut my eyes, keeping them closed, all of the senses explodes. You and me under the sky. Let's stay up all night. Give our hearts a new beginning. When we fell in love, every second, every minute, we were high on life. Didn't waste our time, didn't sleep as much.
One thing I did do when I was cleaning these walls, though, is I made sure that I wringed out this pad really well. I wanted it to be wet so that it would clean, but I wanted to make sure that if an area was really wet, I went over it again, just trying not to overly saturate the wood. It was a very hard like in between because this wood probably hasn't been cleaned in decades, but at the same time, like, it's wood, you only want to put so much moisture on it, so I was definitely like riding a fine line to getting it clean and not overly wetting the area. A lot of times it did just take me going over it a second time with like a completely dry mop to pull up any extra moisture. So if you're cleaning anything wood and you have to use a lot of moisture, I recommend going back over it and drying it. That way you don't have to deal with any problems in the future. These floors actually weren't too bad. They definitely needed a good mopping. But like I said, Bobby's dad is going to be replacing these floors, well, going over them with something different. But I still wanted to make sure everything was super duper clean for Grandma.
Let's stay up all night.
The amount of paint we had to move, I think, was one of the hardest parts of this, because paint is not something that you can just get rid of. Like, I believe as long, at least down here, as long as it's dry paint, the garbage men will take it. But most of these were like full bottles of paint. So that made things very, very difficult. Bobby and I were also exhausted by this time on day one. Both days we didn't get back to the hotel till after 8 at night. But we knew we had to get certain things done on day one so that on day two we could come and just power through painting and everything. Mainly the side that has her washer and dryer, I was going to be painting the ceiling and doing an extra coat on the walls, because on top of the LPV vinyl that Bobby's dad is doing on these floors, he's also going to do that. It's like I think it's a basement floor paint, but also like a garage floor paint where it has a little bit more of a grit to it. So you'll see I didn't tape off the floors or anything because I knew he was going to be coming back and doing that. He asked us if we would, and we're like, we really don't. I don't think he understood like the amount of time that all of this was going to take us, so we were not able to do that for him. But luckily the whole basement is now clean and prepped for him to just come in and knock out those couple of projects.
No, we don't need to think twice. It's alright. You're my melody. You're my melody. Don't let it fade away. You're my melody. Don't let it fade away. You've got
Now, every time I do these different helping hand videos, if it's for family friends or family or whoever, because I've done it for all types of people, I always get people that ask that, how do I find the houses that I help with, and like how they can find someone like me to help them. And that's a little bit harder to do because I've always done this by word of mouth. Like when I first started doing where I helped other people out, it was like my sister's friend, and then my sister's friend had a friend or family, and it was always word of mouth. It was never like an advertised thing. I was just always trying to help the community around me, and I feel like that is the most important thing. Like if you're looking for help, one, I think it's really important to ask. I know Bobby's dad was talking about how overwhelmed he was and all this stuff. And we asked him, we're like, why didn't you ask Ryan, which is one of Bobby's brothers? And he's like, oh, he's got the kids and works so much and he doesn't have time. And then when I talked to Ryan and his wife, they're like, yeah, Dad never asked. We always offer. He doesn't ask and all this stuff. And it's purely a just not asking for the help. So I know it can be like embarrassing sometimes or just feel awkward to ask for help, but I promise there is almost always someone around you that's going to be willing to help. Or if you're looking to help people, look in your immediate family first, immediate family and friends, and there's always someone that has something that they're having a hard time with. Like I said, if you went to Grandma Gloria's house, her house is in really good shape. She does a really good job for the state that she's in. But this basement was just something she could not tackle on her own. There was no way. The amount of stuff and cleaning, she's just not in the shape to do that. So being able to go over there for 2 days and get all this done was a huge blessing and help to her. As you can see, this is day 2. I know everyone's going to yell at me of lack of mask. My mother definitely yelled at me also. But I am a stubborn woman that hates the mask on my face. I feel like I can't breathe and like I'm going to suffocate. Which I know is not an excuse, but it's mine. I'm sorry. I always have people that tell me that, and I'm like, I know I should be wearing them, and I just never do.
through the line. I wanna rest in the arms of an angel and be safe and warm tonight. Are you still mad at me, baby? Or don't you care anymore? Oh,
Also, you can tell in this footage right here that the air gets full of stuff. So I will tell you, I took a ton of breaks. Like regularly, I went upstairs and went outside to get fresh air because we were not, there's no way to get good like ventilation in this basement. So I did take a lot of breaks doing this, which I highly recommend. When I've done like our garages or sheds and stuff like that, it's not a big deal because you have the garage door open, like ton of ventilation. But working down here in this side of the basement, I definitely made sure to take a lot more breaks and step backs to not die in this crazy amount of fumes. I wanted to get 2 coats on everything, but honestly, we were just running out of time. So on the first side, I was able to get 2 coats on, but on the second side, I was only able to get 1. Luckily, this sprayer is Bobby's dad, so if he wants to come back, he can and do another coat. And when I was over there, Bobby was over on this side doing the ceiling because I told him, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to have time to. Bobby does not love painting, so him doing this is huge. Like, you guys probably have never seen Bobby paint on my channel. It is not his favorite thing to do. But I told him, like, the only way we're going to be able to get all of this done is if you paint that room. Because otherwise, there's just no way we're going to have this all done. And we were literally leaving next day to go back to Florida.
To Vegas in my blue striped car. She's riding shotgun and she looks like a star. Yeah, she's got the style that makes you think she's made out of gold. She says she likes it better when we go off-road. Yeah. I'm gonna make it worth your while. I'm gonna make it worth your time. Gonna make it worth your while.
So it wasn't long after this that I actually ended up going back to the hotel. I was covered in paint, and it was about 5 o'clock at night. So Bobby's like, hey, go back to the hotel, shower up. By the time you get back here, we can put things like back where they need to go and whatnot. So you're going to actually see me in different clothes later on, even though it's the same day. And that's because, like I said, I went back to the hotel, showered really good. That way I could come back and help him, but not be absolutely covered in paint from head to toe. Because if you guys have ever used a sprayer, you know it is not fun. Well, it's fun, but it gets absolutely everywhere.
She makes that smile, yeah, she's got that style that makes you think she's made out of gold. She's turning up the volume on the radio.
Okay, I guess it wasn't yet because I am still covered in paint. You can see my hair is like white. But it does end up coming up that I leave and end up in different clothing. And don't mind me beating my husband with a yardstick. That's just marriage life. Hey, if you can't have a little bit of fun, it's going to be boring. But yeah, we wanted to move pretty much everything in that front room, storage-wise, to be in this back room, just so it looked nicer. Like, a lot of the stuff she had over there was no need for it to be over here. She had all this room back here for storage space. So that was the whole mindset when we were doing it, is trying to make it so that everything would end up, in the end, fitting on this side. But here you're going to see all the before and afters. This is my favorite part of any of these videos. Also, stay tuned because after these before and afters, we're going to get Grandma's reaction, as well as at the very end, I have a couple behind the scene clips. But just a warning, some of those behind the scene clips does have a little bit of swearing in it. So if you're very particular on that, I like to give a heads up. I know, this side's practically empty other than the cat thing.
So, yeah, all those things fit pretty good the way you've done them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were only 3 yellow ones, so I grabbed the green.
Yeah, okay. It's a lot better than the other ones, you know?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks good. Oh really?
Look at your
Looks nice.
ceiling. It's shiny.
Oh wow.
Not good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, looks good. Oh wow. Gotta see the other side too. Wow, that looks really
Yeah,
nice.
just don't look at the floor on the other side.
Dad still's got to do that.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, looks good. Yeah. So. Smells clean too with that paint,
Uh-huh.
you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Most cobwebs are gone, but I will say they're sneaky little buggers, and once I started painting, we found more.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wait. Alright, yeah, come on in, you can see. Come this way, you can see your shelves are all on this side. Or if you want to walk the other way, up to you, you know, go that way. So,
Yeah, we put your smaller shelves under here with all the good paint. All the bad paint's gone.
Oh yeah. Oh good. It looks really nice.
yeah, the humidifiers over here because we're still trying to get this paint to dry, so that's why. So yeah, that's, I mean, you can see just how much the wood soaked up. Because like everything was painted, but like you can see like there's parts that just soaked it up.
Well, this side got 2 coats.
Yeah.
Oh really?
I
Uh-huh.
only got the one
Wow.
because it's just soaked it up so much.
Wow. No kidding.
But yeah, once Randy does the floors,
Oh, yeah.
it'll look really nice back
Yeah, it
here.
will look nice. Really, I like it. Oh, really nice.
That should
And the
seem
way you arrange
lighter.
it too. The way you arrange it looks nice, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Is that all? Is it a sleeping bag?
Sleeping. You don't go fuck. Ow. Yeah. Come out here.
I'd have to dump.
Want to take it down?
Yes.
Alright. I don't like this part. This part sucks. Oh god. This is why ours is a little nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes less mess. Dump, dump, dump. Take a dump.